What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Two Worlds podcast. I'm Jake, and with me, as always, is the Alistair to my Antoine. It's Casey. What's up, buddy?
Not much, man. What is Alistair and Antoine from?
They are the two snakes in this week's
Oh
Doctor
yeah.
Strange issue.
Yeah, okay. That makes more sense now.
Yeah. Um, how's it going, man?
Oh, not too bad, buddy. We gotta ourselves a bad case of the giggles on the YouTube. So if you
I
like
uh I
like
was
hearing
playing
that,
with my wedding ring and just threw it over here. So
you're like, I'm on this podcast with Casey. You gotta get rid of this thing.
okay, we're good.
Yep.
Anyway, um, yeah, so YouTube was silly. We talked about the Super Bowl.
A little bit. We're gonna talk about it again because I've come up with a silly bit that I'm gonna be bringing up when we get to our Monday night football bets.
Oh wow. Okay. Um, I mean, I think we're there. This is when we would
Okay.
normally do it.
Okay. Yeah. So, what I expected to happen from the Super Bowl did not. Put a lot of money on it too, because basically my bookie gave me really good odds that Travis Kelce would go down in the first quarter, and then he'd come back in the fourth, and he'd make the winning touchdown, then take his helmet off, and it was Taylor Swift, and she won the big game for Travis. And I was texting Taylor or someone that said they were Taylor, and she told me that was going to happen. That was this in the script. And so I fucking remortgaged my house. I'm you guys need to buy a bunch of shirts because this and sign up for our Patreon that doesn't exist because I am terrified right now.
Oh gosh. Can you imagine like a She's the Man, but with Taylor
Yeah.
Swift?
Like Patrick Mahomes was like,
Yeah.
but then like the NFL commissioner comes out and he's like, Taylor Swift can't play football. And then the coach goes, there's not a rule in that rule book that says Taylor Swift can't play football, just like an airbud.
Boy, we're mixing two childhood classics right there.
Exactly, man. One I never watched. The
You
other
didn't watch
one's
She's the
Airbud.
Man?
No.
Oh. Do you know that movie?
That's the Amanda Bynes one, right?
Yeah.
Where they're like, that's a girl. She's got short hair.
Yeah. So, I mean that's how boys act at that
Yeah.
age.
Like, her hair's not long. And there's a guy with long hair, like, no, not like this girl.
All right. Trivia time.
All right.
I'm gonna be honest, man. Like 4 out of these 6 you might not know.
Wow. That's going to be like a all-time record.
I know. It's still from the same set, so
Yeah.
but we'll start with the easiest one.
All right.
What is the name of Canada's team of superheroes?
Um, Alpha Flight?
It is Alpha Flight. Multiple choice if you need it. What adjective was used in the title of the third Ant-Man solo comic series?
Is it irredeemable?
It is.
Okay.
You read that one?
No, but I was reading a lot of comics at that time, and Marvel used to have like the backup where it's like, these are the other titles that you can't get because you get your comics from Walden Books. And they are not going to pay to put irredeemable Ant-Man in there.
Yeah. So you're saying you would have read it?
Oh, dude, I would like at that time I would have picked up anything at least once because it was slim pickings. So,
Yeah. Well, good job, man. I'm glad that you knew that one.
thanks, man.
True or false? Loki assembles the supervillains who carry out the Acts of Vengeance to take down the Avengers and other heroes.
I'm gonna say false. I don't know though.
It was true.
Oh, okay.
I've never read Acts of Vengeance,
Neither have
so
I.
again, multiple choice if you need it. Adrian Toomes is better known as what foe of Spider-Man?
I think I know this. If I get it wrong, can you give me the okay. Is it Jackal?
No.
I know the name, so I just guess I gotta hear him.
Rhino, Vulture, Hydro Man.
Is it Vulture?
Yep.
Okay. You're like Jackal, the Jackal's clone, or Vulture. Like, oh shoot.
True or false? Rick Jones used the Bucky alias at one time to fight as Cap's sidekick.
That one's true.
It is true. I didn't know if you know that one, so you were confident with it.
Yeah, like Rick Jones is such a weird character to me because it's like before I ever read comics, he was like just reading stuff that he would appear in randomly. Like he was a big deal in this like big gap of time. And then now it's just like, nah, we're good. We don't need Rick.
Yeah, he's barely mentioned ever.
Well, he died in that one Captain America book, and then I don't think they've done anything with him since. Or he was briefly he was in Immortal Hulk every once in a while too, but he was like I think if I remember right, like half a child, half Rick Jones or something like weird thing.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever read anything with him in it.
Yeah.
And finally, multiple choice if you need it. The High Evolutionary performs genetic experiments at what location?
I think it isn't it a planet in our solar system?
No.
No? Oh, then I'll need the old things.
Utopia, Wundagore Mountain, Monster Isle.
I'll go Utopia.
Incorrect.
Oh, damn. Which one
It
was it?
is Wundagore Mountain.
Okay, that was my second guess of the three.
Yeah. Like I said, couple of tough ones tonight.
I think I did better than you thought at least though.
True. True. All right. It's news time. Uh, you want to get your
Yeah, I'll get
bit?
my. So like this had come out a while back, and I didn't say anything about it, neither did you. And then I didn't know that they were reshopping it, but I don't know how long ago they filmed this movie called Coyote versus Acme. It was going to be a live action cartoon, very much like Who Framed Roger Rabbit and Space Jam and all that stuff. And it was like it's written by James Gunn and like John Cena, so it's like that's not John Cena didn't write it; he is in it, and but it's like it's got stuff that like hot names behind it, and but then like Warner Brothers, their head guy David Zaslav or whatever was like, I don't think it's gonna make enough money, so we're gonna just get rid of it as a tax write-off. And so then as they were doing that, people threw a fit. And so then like, well, we'll just try to sell it off to one of these streamers or something. They always need content. And so they were like, we want 75, 80 million for it. And no one did that. And so now this is it's gonna go away. Just gone.
They're Batgirl in it, huh?
Yep. So it's pretty wild to me that they get to do that and just write a, I don't know how much of it's going to be written off as a tax write-off, but yeah, it's pretty crazy that this is a viable way of doing things,
Yeah.
It's
I
like
I don't know that movie would have like done gangbusters or anything, but I bet it would have done all right.
I think it would have made money,
Yeah.
but Yeah, it's crazy. So like as a shop owner, if you're like the new I bought 10,000 issues of this new Batman. I'm not gonna make my money back. I'm just gonna burn them all outside my shop or use it as a tax write-off. Does that work?
Nope, it
Oh,
does
okay.
not.
Just checking.
Yeah, dude. Okay, speaking of uh James Gunn and Cena, I started watching Peacemaker for the first time.
Yeah.
I like it.
Good, man.
Pretty funny.
Yeah.
Um, pretty funny, but also like more emotional than I thought it would be
Yeah.
in parts. So it's like they're showing Peacemaker go from the scumbag he was in Suicide Squad to like being a halfway decent person.
Yeah.
I haven't finished it yet, but I know I'm 2 years late to that game, but I was like, oh yeah, I've been meaning to watch this. I'll just watch it real quick. And
Yeah.
it's been cool.
Like my main problem with like Gunn and like just him taking over DC in general. I know I'm beating a dead horse at this time because no one's gonna agree, but he likes taking characters that are lesser known. Like, I mean, like look at Guardians, look at Peacemaker, and look at Suicide Squad, and then he's like, and then I can just do what I want.
Hmm.
Because it's, like Vigilante sounds like nothing like any of the Vigilante in the comic books. Starro was terrible, like as far as being comic accurate. I know some people loved it. So it's just gonna, and like that's my main worry in general with his upcoming DC because he's like, oh man, I love these D-list characters because I think they look fun. I don't know shit about them, and I don't need to because no one cares because they're only like 10 people's favorite character, not 10,000 people.
True. But hopefully he knows that with Superman. I know you're still
Yeah.
not sold on that, but maybe that'll be the one that he doesn't do that shit with.
I mean, it's gonna be the one that he has all these other characters be the main point instead of Superman.
Yeah. Dude, Vigilante is an absolute psycho and it's
Yeah.
hilarious.
I hear he's one of the best parts in
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I
And
just spent
the actor plays like a really small character in the Harry Potter films. And that's the only thing I've seen him in. So it's just
yeah.
weird seeing him go from Hogwarts to just being this fucking psycho.
Yeah. See, I spent too many years of my life seeing Cena be front and center with shit that I'm like, I'm good. I am good if
Yeah,
I never see him again.
I get that. As a non-wrestling fan, though, I'm fine with him.
Yeah.
Also, I like the charity work that he does. He seems like a pretty decent guy. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get into the wrestling politics of it too much, but as far as the charity work stuff goes, it's just like, yeah, that seems awesome on his part. It's also like, man, it sounds like it kind of fucked up his personal life a little bit too, because he was talking about that. He's like talking about how he just doesn't think he'll ever have kids because he's seen so many of them with cancer.
I mean, that's
I,
very sad.
yeah, it's like I get it, but man, that's too bad, bud.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Talking about shows and movies and whatnot. We got a Deadpool trailer during the Super Bowl. I imagine even though you didn't watch the Super Bowl, that you watched the trailer.
I
So,
did. That one popped up. I forgot to check out the Knuckles one though.
okay. Um, yeah, we talked about it beforehand, but I thought the trailer was solid. I like the first two movies. I'm sure I'm gonna like this one.
Yeah, I mean, looks fine. Like it's silly that they didn't like we were saying before. I thought it was silly that they didn't put Hugh Jackman at least at the very end instead of doing the silhouette. Because it's not like we're like, oh, who could it be? Who could be the actor? Because Hugh said he's never coming back. There's
Right.
none of that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like you said, we also got a Knuckles trailer which actually debuted before the Super Bowl. But I'm all about it. I don't think it looks as good as the Sonic movies. However, I love that universe that they're
Hmm.
making, so I'm definitely gonna watch it. It still looks quite good.
Do you think like because this is that one coming to theaters,
What,
the
Knuckles?
Knuckles, or is it going to be like a Paramount Plus thing?
It's a show on
Oh, okay.
Paramount.
I gotcha. Okay, that's better because I was just gonna say I was like I love Knuckles. He was always my favorite character, but I don't think a Knuckles show or a Knuckles movie would make very much at the box office.
No, I think it's just gonna be like a 6 or 8 episode thing
Yeah,
on Paramount.
yeah. Because I mean, if you're not gonna like if you're gonna have Idris Elba in it, you need to at least show him off. Come on, you can't just have the voice.
Right.
If you're trying to get women, women's butts in seats, you gotta at least show off Idris Elba.
Women's butts and Jake.
And a handful of men.
Yeah. He's great, man. I love him. Think he's a great
I'm
actor.
I like him too. He was in The Office. That could get you back. That could get you watching The Office.
Was he in the office a lot?
Not a lot. He was kind of a dick,
Ah, that's too bad.
but because he was like a normal person, and then everyone else in the office is like not. And there's one part though when like all the girls in the office were like staring at him, and he like cuts the camera. And he's like, "I do understand the effect I have on women."
Was that like before he was super big?
Yeah, I think maybe like Luther had come out like the first season, but man, that show it seemed like that show was like had what 4 seasons, and it took like 20 years for it all to come out.
Yeah. Yeah. Great fucking show though. I gushed
Yeah,
about that show when it
I
was
know.
out.
I need to watch it, but
You really do.
yeah.
Um, all right, moving along. We've got an announcement for another Game of Thrones spinoff in the works. This one is one that the last time we heard about a spinoff, I was like, I hope they do this. And it is all about when Aegon the Conqueror came over to Westeros and conquered all the kingdoms. So I think that's going to be dope. It's
Yeah.
Aegon and his two sisters that he's married to, bringing dragons over to a place that don't know what dragons are and just taking over. I think it's going
Yeah.
to be cool.
I'd watch a Game of Thrones spinoff if it was like set in like 1970s Game of Thrones.
Oh,
Like
geez.
it's a buddy cop drama, like that type of thing with
Like
like
a
seven,
Starsky and Hutch type
yeah,
thing.
and have it be like, but like every once in a while you'll see like the Iron Throne or whatever and shit. Like there'll be like random things like they pepper into like you can see what happens in the universe after the end of the first Game of Thrones.
Right. That'd be funny. A lot of people are fan casting Henry Cavill to be Aegon.
Yeah.
Um,
I think he might be a little too busy, guys, with Warhammer and all of the movies that they're letting him do and everything.
I mean, I would say that there would be a chance if he weren't spearheading a Warhammer universe.
Right?
But now that that's happening, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But
Or
it's
if it
just
is,
people are only saying that because, a year or two ago, they were like, if they ever do Aegon's Conquest, Henry Cavill should play Aegon.
yeah,
So it's just coming back around as casting does.
yeah.
Um, but whoever they pick, I'm sure will be great. Hell,
Oh,
they made Matt Smith look badass. So
dude, I don't care what you say. There was times in Doctor Who where like, yeah, Matt Smith's face is weird looking, but where it's like at the same time, baddest motherfucker on the planet at times. Where like the first episode where he's like talking, and he's like, "Do you know the type of person I am?" Like does that whole like his big speech, about like who's protecting this planet and stuff, and he's like, "Run." I'm like, okay, I'm sold. You're pretty awesome, Matt Smith.
dude, it's that times 100
Oh, I'm
with
sure.
House of the Dragon. He is so cool in that show.
Really quick, Wednesday we're gonna get a Godzilla X Kong trailer, a new one.
Oh,
It
on
was an
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna be doing. This one, like people are saying online, like this is the one where they kiss.
Can't wait. Um, oh, okay, one more thing before comic news. I don't know if you saw the James Gunn stuff on Twitter. I know that could be anything, right? Every
Yeah.
week, but um, there were some supposed DCU leaks online, and James was like, at least one of these is true. And here was the list: that Darren Aronofsky is in talks to direct a Plastic Man movie, that a Teen Titans film is in early development, and that a Sergeant Rock film is in development. And he said, at least one of those is true. Have fun guessing.
So I'm gonna say it's probably like the Teen Titans or the Sergeant Rock. The Darren Aronofsky Plastic Man one. I'm like, that does not seem like it'd be true at all.
I think it's probably Teen Titans too. I don't see a Sergeant Rock movie happening personally.
Well, the only reason why I said it could be is because that's another one of those characters where I could see James Gunn being like, I like this character, and then uses him however he wants, type of thing. But I
True.
think I think Teen Titans is the most likely.
Also, it's one that should be a thing in development, you know?
I mean, for me, it shouldn't be just, but at the same time, I don't think we should be jumping into a universe where like the Justice League is already formed and all this other stuff. Like, I think, they should introduce Robin separately before they try to do a Teen Titans movie. But that's just my opinion because we don't know what the hell is going on in this universe yet.
True. It's been way too long since we've had a live action Robin.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I want to see one of those posts where people are like, because you always see it with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, where they'll be like, uh, we've had 3 actors play Spider-Man, and 10, like 1,000 actors play Superman and Batman, but only one Wolverine. It's like we've only had one Robin, and that's that guy from NCIS LA or whatever. Blanking on his name.
I am too. What was his name?
Can't believe I'm blanking on it because there was one time when we were in college and I don't
Chris
remember.
O'Donnell.
Yeah, Luke said something about this fucking killed me because like for some reason Chase can say things that'll just fucking make me die laughing. But Luke said something about Chris O'Donnell and Chase is like, hey, his name's Robin.
That's awesome.
Oh wait, we got a live action Robin in Christopher Nolan's Batman. Remember that fun little twist?
I I don't count that. um all right, on to the comic stuff. So Jonathan Hickman and Sanford Green are doing a Doom comic in May. Um when I initially wrote that in the notes, I thought it was going to be a series, but it sounds like it's going to be a one shot.
I
So
gotcha.
I guess I don't know for sure.
Yeah, be like
But
a
that could be cool. I think Sanford Green is an amazing artist, so I think that's going to look really good.
my one problem, and this is just my problem with Hickman, is it's like maybe you'll get something really cool and really good, or you'll get something that doesn't make any sense and you have to read 10 years worth of his stuff, like every single thing he's written to understand it.
Everything he's ever done all comes
Yeah.
down to this one issue of Doom.
Because like that's how like a lot of his stuff was feeling after his Fantastic Four. Because they'd be like bringing stuff back to that, and like Secret Wars, I guess, was really bad about that because I didn't read his Secret Wars because I was about done with him at that point. But they're like, yeah, it connects all of his stuff from his Avengers run and all of his stuff from his Fantastic Four and Future Foundations run. It's like that's a terrible way of doing an event book.
I agree. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
This was pretty cool. Marvel and DC are going to put back into print all of their amalgam series.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I imagine it'll either be a couple of trades or maybe just an amalgam omnibus. Um, but very glad that that's happening.
When that gets released, will you have a midnight opening at your shop where we all have to dress like amalgam characters, but like ones that we make ourselves if we want?
Oh, that'd be
And
pretty cool.
yeah, so it's
Who
like
would you do?
Detective Chimp and Aunt May.
Detective May.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
It's just like I dress like an old woman, but I give myself really hairy knuckles.
Oh, geez. All right. We're also getting a new Space Ghost series from Dynamite. It's going to be written by David Pepose and art by Jonathan Lau or Laus. I guess that means DC doesn't have the rights to Hanna-Barbera anymore.
They
Um,
should. That's what doesn't make any that though it doesn't make any sense to me. They might just be leasing it out or something because it's like no, they haven't sold Hanna-Barbera stuff because that's Scooby-Doo. They're not gonna get rid of that.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. But either way, it should be cool.
Hmm.
And then finally, so Marvel's doing this Blood Hunt event later in the year. They're going to be doing uh, a Union Jack 3-issue tie-in to that that's called Union Jack the Ripper, and Union Jack is a vampire hunter.
Nice.
And I think that sounds fucking awesome,
Yeah,
dude. Like
man.
I'm all in on those 3 issues for sure.
Yeah, I think Union Jack is one of the coolest looking characters that like one of the I'll say this, he's one of the coolest characters I've read very little of.
Yeah. You
Like,
mean you didn't read all of MI6?
nope. Like I saw him appear once in a Spider-Man book and I was like, this guy's really cool.
Yep.
That's about it.
That's going to be written by Kevin Scott with art by Kev Walker. Great creative team. I think that's going to be a really good miniseries.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And that's it for the news, man. What'd you
Awesome.
read this week?
So I read Godzilla Valentine's Day Special, Batman, The Joker Year One, Part One, Fantastic Four, number 17, The One Hand, number 1, Doctor Strange, number 12, Shazam, number 8, and The Sensational She-Hulk, number 5. What about you, bud?
I just realized I didn't read Shazam.
You noob.
I know. I read Doctor Strange 12, She-Hulk 5, The One Hand, number 1, Birds of Prey, number 5, Thundercats, number 1, Conan the Barbarian, number 7, Dark Souls, The Willow King, number 1, and DC's How to Lose a Guy Gardner in 10 Days.
I think you got one more than me, so I'll let you go first.
All right. DC's How to Lose a Guy Gardner in 10 Days. I'm going to show you the variant. We were talking about variants last week. I said it was maybe Fire and Ice. I was wrong. It's Wonder Woman.
Okay.
Quite good, though.
Mm-hmm.
Variant by Ariel Diaz. I'm not going to get into every single short story that's in this book, but I liked the majority of them in this. This is one where I'm like, I don't feel icky for this being a $10 book.
Yeah.
Lots of good stuff. The whole spiel with Guy in the beginning is that Vicky Vale kind of dupes Guy into going out with her so that she can write a story about dating a superhero. But she goes out with him like 10 times and realizes how fucking awful he is, and then changes it to why you shouldn't date a superhero. And it was pretty cool. But otherwise, there's a Red Tornado story, Booster Gold, we got a Barry and Iris story, Constantine, Plastic Man, Wonder Woman, and then Dick and Babs. So A couple were duds, but overall, I enjoyed it. They actually got some really good artists on this book too, so it was cool. I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
Nice, man. All right. Well, we're keeping on the subject of Valentine's Day, the Godzilla Valentine's Day special. So yeah, this girl, she's working at her job and she doesn't like, oh, it's by Zoe Tunnel and Sebastian Perez on the art. And this girl, she's like working her job. They all evacuate, but she had her noise canceling headphones on and didn't notice. And then Godzilla destroyed the building that she was in, but she survived. And then they're like, "You're fired." And so then like, but you got, uh, they'll be paid according to the severance package. And she's like, "Oh man, I'm gonna be so broke, blah blah blah." And then she's like, "Wait a minute, severance package, Godzilla global sightings. I'm gonna go follow Godzilla around." It's like 5 seconds ago, you were just talking about how you're gonna live off ramen and beans, and now you're like, I can just follow jet set across this planet. But yeah, it's then she meets this person, and they're like, hey, it's very much like, all right, get out of here, because they're military and she's not, and then the person's always saving her and all this stuff, and it's like a really like, oh, they love each other, but they don't want to admit it. And yeah, then it's like, oh, well, look at this. 3 years later, they're married. I will give it this. They draw a chunky Godzilla. He's just a big
Damn,
old
boy.
he's
He's
just a big old
thick.
thick boy. But the art in it kind of, besides chunky Godzilla, Chunkzilla, the art kind of sucks like most IDW Godzilla books. It's just like, who needs backgrounds?
As long as we got a Thunder Thigh Godzilla.
Yeah. Like, let's just put some work into this thick boy, thickzilla. But yeah, so like right here, this is one of the ones that I thought was pretty funny. It's just like, where are they? Like, is this a flat Earth book or something?
Especially because the panel right next to that, there is a background.
Yeah. So, it's one of those things where it's like, no, we're not like the giant monsters that fight and destroy each other are not, they do nothing wrong. They're wonderful saints. We are the problem. It's like, oh, okay. That's where we're at with this. But yeah, it's just like, I'm gonna be like kind of nicer to it than I have been with the IDW books, because like they used to be really good and then they haven't been for so long that this is just kind of the going of it, like it's perfectly fine. So for an IDW Godzilla book, it's a 7. For a normal book, it's probably a 4.
Oof. Not great.
No. But man, IDW is good at getting your expectations lowered.
It's a shame, man. A Godzilla Valentine's Day book should be fun.
I mean, I've seen enough stuff, like we mentioned the other day on Twitter, where it should be awesome.
Man. All right. I'm going to talk about Dark Souls, The Willow King, #1. It's written by George Mann with art by Mon House. And dude, I really, really liked this book.
Yeah.
The art is just fucking rad. And this whole issue is just like a myth story about, this king who was supposed to do something great for his city and then he didn't do it. And he died, but now his soul is like still out there and he's gathered all this undead power. So now 4 warriors are uniting and they're being led by the guy that was supposed to stop the king in life, and he didn't do it. He died trying. So now he comes back undead, and he gathers this group, and they're like, "Let's go kill this king and do what he was supposed to do." But on the way there to the city that's been abandoned for years and overtaken by monsters and undead, they got to fight all this cool looking shit. And I loved it. I can't wait for more. So,
Is it based? I'm assuming it's based off the Dark Souls games, right?
yeah, it's in that universe.
Okay. Have you played those games?
No.
Okay.
Um I I don't know if they were exclusive to anything. Uh but the first like they call them Souls-like games that I played was Elden Ring. And I want to play those other games, but they're not ever on sale on Steam,
I
which sounds
gotcha.
crazy, but it's like, and I'm not paying $40 for Dark Souls 1. It's too old. I'm not fucking
Yeah.
doing it. So
And it's also fucking frustrating as all
yeah,
hell. Like,
yeah.
you're not gonna have fun.
No, I'm not. But I love the world so much that
Yeah.
I just want to go try it.
Yeah.
But here's like a picture of the party that gathers
Oh,
to
dude, that's
fight
pretty
the
dope.
king. Yeah, and so the whole book, the art is just drab and like looks this cool.
Like
I
that's what you imagine your Dungeons and Dragons team looking like when they really look like Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
yes, exactly it. Exactly it. Um, but yeah, I was thrilled with it. I'm gonna give it a 10 pick of the week.
Nice, dude. All right, you gave a 10. Now we're gonna talk about something that maybe did I give a 10 to. Batman 142, The Joker, Year One, Part One by Chip Zdarsky, Giuseppe Camuncoli, and Andre Sorrento on the art. Um, I am gonna double grade this. I'm gonna grade it two ways because there's one ways of like my own Casey continuity that I'm like, what the hell's going on? Another part of me that's just taking it for what it is in this book, if that makes sense. Because the last issue of Chip's Batman, if I remember right, Zur Enar put his consciousness in failsafe. And then this one, it's like, we're just starting this new thing now. Bye-bye.
What?
Yeah. This is now just like, oh yeah, here we're talking about Joker's origin story. And so yeah, it's like, but then this jumps around to the future, to the past, and it kind of just feels like, it's like a Elseworld book. And but Chip does a good job with it because it just feels like combining a bunch of different Joker related things, and it works. Like I enjoyed the book as I was reading it, but at the same time I'm like, Joker doesn't need this. And
That's exactly why I didn't pick it up. I'm like, dude, no.
yeah, like it's kind of, but like that's the thing. It's like continuity brain Casey. I'm not a fan of like that, and then also because like it jumps to like it'd be what I'm assuming is supposed to be their last encounter between Batman and Joker. So it's like and so it's like, yeah, continuity brain Casey. I don't like this, especially not in the main Batman book. As a standalone book, it was pretty damn cool. I liked it. So I'm gonna say continuity brain Casey's gonna give it like, because I still thought it was cool. I just had stuff that griped me about it. So I'm gonna probably give that like a 6. But just as a regular story, 8.5. It's
Yeah.
it's good.
Glad you liked it, man.
Yeah.
Chip just keeps finding a way with Batman for me to not give a shit.
Yeah. And I mean I get that because the failsafe stuff was pretty stupid.
Yeah.
And then he was just like, and then he has the bad way of just being like, okay, now we're dropping it. We're gonna jump to something new completely. Like, okay, I guess.
All right. Conan the Barbarian, number 7. There it is. It's written by Jim Zub with art by Doug Braithwaite. It's pretty cool. Conan keeps finding people that are taken over by some dark magic, and he has to keep fighting them. One is a lady he gets intimate with.
Did they get married first?
No. I know. Hey, he's a barbarian, Casey. I'm sorry.
Okay. They still make good Christian barbarians, I guess.
No, they don't. He-Man, that's who.
Oh, there we go.
But anyway, spoiler alert, at the end, Conan actually gets taken over by the dark magic. And it turns out to be Thulsa Doom, which isn't that surprising, but it is pretty surprising that Conan gets possessed and Thulsa Doom's voice is like basically like I'm gonna have some fun, being the puppet master of Conan the
Mhm.
Barbarian. So who knows what he's gonna get up to, but it was cool. I liked it a lot. I'm gonna give it an 8.
Nice. All right. So Fantastic Four, issue 17 by Ryan North and Carlos Gomez. This is a filler issue. Because like, I don't know when this kind of got like retconned or whatever, where it was like, hey, Sue's a paleontologist now. But I know it's kind of a little bit more recently. But so yeah, they're like, hey, you got called into Arizona because someone found some bones and they're old. So get over here, Sue. And she's like, oh boy, I can do some real work. And Reed's like, paleontology, that's not science, you idiot. Oh, he doesn't say that. He's like, do something real, okay? Not just play with bones in the dirt. But so yeah, like the one thing that Ryan North always does is he does fun things with their powers. And it's like, oh, these because the skeleton remains are like, there's no way it could be like what it looks like because it looks like a European type person, like basically a white person skeleton because like the different stuff, paleontology, science. And they're like, oh well, so it can't be what we thought this whole time. And so then like, well, what if it's time travel? What if it's one of us? And so like they then like get all of them down to their skeleton, and you got the old chonky Ben Grimm skeleton over here. He's big boned. So yeah, and it turns out, oh, it's Sue's skeleton. She gonna die. And then it cuts to like, oh, in the past, and they're fighting this old time traveler Rama Tut. And it was neat because I guess, I mean, if you have Fantastic Four number 19, read that before this issue. It's very important. And so yeah, they had just fought Rama Tut, and so he's like, hey, how did you guys know I was coming here? And they're like, oh, we didn't. And then so I don't know when these Sue and Reed are from, but they just show up and they fight him, and they come up with a way, makes you believe that they get murdered by him, but then it turns out, nah, they were messing with him. It was a big old prank. And then, that's it. It was just a filler issue, like another one. Like like I think this series has had like 5 issues of the 17 that weren't filler. So,
Yeah.
it's probably a 6.5, maybe 7. Like it's just like, yeah, this is exactly what it's been this whole time.
But you don't hate it.
I don't hate it. It's just like, yeah, this is, sometimes Ryan North does go on too much. Like we were talking about with Timmy Shares. It's just like, dude, we don't, yeah, you've seen it too in that one issue. That was another filler issue where it was just like walls of them just talking. It's like, this is it.
All right. Next up for me is Thundercats number 1. It's written by Declan Shalvey with art by Drew Moss. It was perfect, dude.
Yeah.
Perfect stuff. Art was really good. The story, like if you didn't know the Thundercats story, like the origin at all, this wraps it up in one issue and sets up for what's happening in the series. Which, I mean, what more could you ask for
Mm-hmm.
in a first issue? So everything gets established right away. It's right after the Thundercats crash on this planet, and they're just trying to figure out what to do. Lion-O is like a brand new leader, just trying to do what's best for his people. And then um, the interesting part, so they're getting attacked by this lizard guy and his army, but we get Mum Ra at the last page, and I'm going to spoil something here, so skip ahead if you don't want the spoiler.
Okay.
um, Mum Ra has like a ghost form, I guess, of Jaga, and Jaga is like the guy that was leading the Thundercats when they escaped their planet. He's like the old. I don't know if you know shit about Thundercats.
I know very little, but I know some.
Okay, so Jaga gets them all together, puts them on the ship. They fly away. He dies. So that's why Lion-O has to like take over. Well, now Mum Ra, it appears, has like a force ghost of Jaga. It's like, huh, I wonder what's going on there.
Hmm.
But that's like the last panel. So it's like, damn, gotta wait a whole month to find out what's going on with Jaga.
Yeah.
But it was really cool, man. I liked it. I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. It was everything that I wanted this book to
Yeah.
be.
Now, I have a question. Was Jaga the one that was like, because when they remade Thundercats on Cartoon Network the first time, not your favorite time, then they remade it and they had, like it's been forever, but the old guy, there was like an older guy and he was voiced by the original Lion-O. Would that have been Jaga?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Okay, then I know who he is then.
Man, that show was so good.
That's what I that's what I hear. I couldn't get like because that one because I never liked Thundercats the old one, but then I was like, oh, I know I'm gonna like He-Man because of beefcakes, and then I tried to watch it, and that He-Man that they came out I thought sucked, and I just could not get into that.
Yeah. I know I watched that one, but I couldn't tell you too much about it.
Yeah, only episode I remember is there's an episode where the guy with the extending neck had to like get something, and he was being played because it's like, yeah, you have a stupid power button. And then it was one of those episodes where it's like every cartoon at this time we're doing this episode where it's like they had the one guy that was like the comedy character, and then like they're like, oh, this guy's a fucking idiot, you know, and then like he does something, and then like they're fighting the bad guys without him, then and like, oh, where's our fucking idiot at? We need his long neck, you know, like that, and then he comes in. It turns out he's not so useless.
Oh, that's so funny. We need his long neck.
Like, oh, he can look over things, I guess. I don't know. All right, but Shazam #8 by Mark Waid and Goran Sudzuka. And so yeah, it picks up the last one left off where like Shazam and Shazam are talking about like, oh, you destroyed my house, and then like the T-Rexes are still being silly and stuff, and yeah, the house like Billy's upset because he's now got to explain to his family that the house is destroyed, and then like his dad's like, dude, the worst part is if the people find out about this, like you all are going to be separated because we don't have a house for you guys anymore. And so yeah, the T-Rexes are still doing stuff, and so Shazam comes up with his idea, and it's a pretty good one. It's enjoyable. Like honestly, this Mark Waid, he might have a future writing comics. He's a pretty good comic book writer, if you believe it or not.
Kind of a hot take, man. We'll see how his career
I know.
plays out.
We'll see what happens, but he's not bad. I'm gonna go 8.5. I think you're gonna really like it. It's fun.
Nice.
And boy, I'll just say this: if only Dwayne Johnson and Zachary Levi could have worked together like this, maybe that movie wouldn't have bombed so bad.
But we never got to see it happen.
Nope. As I'm making fun of Shazam, we just hear, if you smell, and Rock comes out and bitch slacks me like he did Cody Rhodes.
All right. My final book before the mute cheese got Birds of Prey #6. And it's written by Kelly Thompson with art by Leonardo Romero. And it's cool. It's the last issue of this arc. So they all went to Themyscira to save Dinah's sister. Well, in the last issue, her sister was possessed, I guess, by this old goddess. And essentially in this one, the two like form together, I guess. They can't get rid of the goddess without killing Sin. So uh Sin before I mean they got like this magic urn that they were gonna trap both of them in, like Naruto style. And the goddess didn't want that. And Sin was like, okay, if you let me have primary control, then, I'll make sure we don't go on the urn. So they come to that agreement. And now Sin, you know, has all the skills of a ninja assassin on top of, some goddess powers. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty
Nice.
cool. Um, And then at the end, like they're having like a little celebration, and Barbara stops by and she's really salty because Dinah didn't let her be on the team. But we find out it's because Dinah's time traveling friend. Uh, Turns out they tried this over and over and over, and Barbara was the only one that always died. And
Mhm.
so she didn't want her to die, and that's why she didn't let her join. But anyway, they find out during that somebody is trying to kill Barbara on purpose. And so Dinah's like, well, I'm not going to let that happen. And we see Cassandra stop by and she's like, yeah, I was spying on you. I heard all of that. I'm not going to let anybody kill Babs. So I'm with you. And Dinah's like, all right, we're going to need a new team. So next it says new team, new mission. And I think that's kind of cool.
That's awesome. I love that idea.
Yeah, I really loved this first team. Um, but they told a good story. So now we can move on to another team. And obviously it's going to be Dinah, Barbara, and Cassandra. Maybe some of the others will stick around, but if not, that's okay because Kelly Thompson's a good writer and I'm excited to see where it goes. So I'm going to give it a 9.
Stephanie's just sitting at home, like looking at her phone, like, I wonder if they're gonna text me about this.
I hope they do, man. But then it's just like
Batgirl
the
2.0.
Batgirls with Dinah.
Yeah. Dude, like the one thing that does annoy me, even though I didn't read it, is that they brought Zealot in, and then now it's like we're changing the team. Zealot, you're not in it. Let's go back to Wildcats. Yeah, I know that book's canceled. You're just stuck in comic book limbo again.
Well, that's assuming Zealot isn't going to still be on the team, and she might be.
Yeah. Which did like since you had never read Zealot before this, were you like, I'm a Zealot head now, or nah?
Not really.
Yeah.
She was just kind of angsty the whole time, and it's like, I get that that's your character, but also it's been 6 issues and you're still just as angsty, and it's like,
I gotcha. Yeah.
It's like if Barbara's gonna be, the kind of serious badass, she can still be kind of funny while doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Zealot wasn't, there was no like fun factor to it.
Yeah. She was fun in Wildcats, but that's because she was working off of old Grifter too.
Right.
That had like a good relationship between the two.
Well, I would just say that that Rosenbaum can write her better than Kelly Thompson.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just think too, if they would have had Zealot and then like Stephanie, because then you get, the fun character with the serious, it'd work better.
Yeah.
Because like
I mean,
it sounds like that Birds of Prey. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
They kind of did do that with Harley.
Oh yeah, I forgot Harley was even on the team.
But Harley was just funny because she's Harley, and not so much, adding to anybody else.
Yeah, no, I gotcha. All right, what order
but dude,
do you want
maybe one of these days when they come out and trade, I'll have to get you a copy. I think you'd like it. It's a solid book.
I probably would. It was just one of those ones. I think it was a big week when it came out, and I was like, I'm not picking that up too.
Yeah.
Oh, what order do you want to do these last 3 in?
Well, they're laying on the desk. One hand, She-Hulk, Doctor Strange.
Alrighty. So start us off with The One Hand, issue 1 by Ram V and Lawrence Campbell doing the art. I don't know about you, bud, but this was all the way in my alley.
Yep, I loved it.
Yeah, like super cool. This detective's last day on the job. He's retiring and got the cake and everything, and then this killer that he's put away before is out on the loose again or something, or maybe it's a copycat. We don't know for sure. And then we kind of get the reveal also, this is very much in the future. It's like I was kind of like, I wonder when this is supposed to take place. And then it's like, oh yeah, there's a sex robot doll. Okay, it's very far in the future.
It tells on one page.
Oh, it does. I must have
It's
missed
like
that.
there it is. November 5th, 2873.
Oh, okay. But yeah, dude, I loved the book. I thought it was super awesome. Nothing, no real complaints. This is my pick of the week, though. And yeah, what
Yeah,
else?
no complaints. The art is very, very much like Andrea Sorrentino.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which is a good thing, a very
Yeah.
good thing. But yeah, I like this. I can't wait for Ram V's book that, ties into this. I think that idea is super cool.
Yeah.
I'm
So that's the
excited.
Dan Waters book. This is the Ram V one.
Or yeah, I meant to
Yeah.
say Dan
Yeah.
Waters.
So
yeah, I don't have any complaints either, dude. It was really good.
this is a 10 for me, and I would highly recommend it if you guys, are like, I kind of want a new book, and I don't know who to read. Ram V, that's always a safe bet. And I've not read enough Dan Waters, but Jake has talked highly enough of him that it's like, yeah, he's a safe bet too. So
Yeah.
you should check this out.
If you like crime, it's a must read.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It would be a 10. However, I read Thundercats and Dark Souls this week, and this just didn't hit like those two would have.
I
If this
gotcha.
were on a different week, it would be a 10. I'm going to give it a 9.5.
Okay. Old tough grading Jake.
Yeah, 9.5. All right. Next, we've got Sensational She-Hulk number 5. It's written by Rainbow Rowell with art by Ig Guara. And this was probably my favorite issue in a while. I've been kind of lukewarm on the last few issues, but I like the art a lot. They get to fight some demons in this, which is pretty cool. We get old Damon Hellstrom in it, which is neato. And I think Patsy's funny. So, it was a solid book for me.
Yep. Rainbow does a great job with just dialogue in general. Like every book she's written, she does a great job with that. It's nice seeing the son of Satan in this book and like him not just being a random villain for some reason. Like he has been like just randomly for no real reason other than, well, he's the son of the devil, so he's got to be evil, right? Like,
But
in this,
he,
it's just
I've never read him, but he is always a hero, right?
for like the last Hellcat series, if I remember correctly, he was a bad guy for just because. And then in that Avengers Undercover, they're just like, yeah, Damien Hellstrom, he's the bad guy, one of them. And it's like, why? He's evil. He's son of Satan. You can't be the son of Satan and be good.
But when he first appeared in Marvel Premiere Spotlight or whatever it was, I'm pretty sure he was a good guy.
Yeah, 100%. And so yeah, it's just, I think people don't read, like some of the writers don't read comics and they don't know, but I would never say that about Rainbow because she nails her shit.
I do have a knock on this book.
What's up?
It's Jack of Hearts.
That's how it's kind of been the last couple times because like I love the last issue, but Jack of Hearts, and
Yeah.
he's still just kind of a little too mopey for me.
He is. He's like everything is just him being like,
Yeah.
and I'm sick of it. I'm
Which
so
I
sick
mean,
of it.
you get a muscle mommy. Sometimes you are like, but then other times like, uh,
But he's never like
I
that. It
know.
would be fine if there were a balance, but there's not. He's always just like, "Oh, I'm sorry." It's like, "Shut up. How
Yeah.
about you give your balls a tug?" But that's how I feel about it, man.
Yeah. No,
I'm glad that he was only in the last 2 pages because otherwise I'm like, dude, get him the fuck out of here.
yeah, no, dude, I get what you're saying. It's like I was super stoked when they brought him back, but like it's just like that's the one part of this whole series because he's just spinning. Like his tires are just spinning. He's not really gaining much. This is the first time we actually see him, gain some character development. But for the most part, it's just the same shit, different story, you know.
He could
But
have gained some if he'd have just at the last issue they'd gone with him to the bar.
yeah,
Let him kick some demon's ass, and I'd be like, all right, Jack, you're pretty cool,
yeah,
but we're not getting that.
yeah. But other than that, I loved it. I'm at a 9 for it.
I'm at an 8. Jack annoys me too much to grade higher than that.
Is it now? Be honest. Is it because you also have a crush on She-Hulk and you're like, why does he get to have her?
No, if anybody, I have a crush on Patsy.
Oh, that's true. All right. So Doctor Strange, number 12 by Jed McKay and Danielo S. Beyruth on the art. The art, I kind of have a love-hate with it personally. Like there's times where I'm like, I really like this. Other times where I'm like, not so much. And the story itself, I was very much let down with. What do you think, though?
I actually liked it.
Yeah.
Um, I liked that it was kind of bats heavy.
Yeah.
I did like the art. He kind of made Steven and Clea look old, I guess is
Mm-hmm.
the only way to say it, but that's okay. Um my knock is like the whole time Steven's like, I would know if somebody came in here. And I
Mm-hmm.
believe him. Even if they came through, say, a mirror portal. I still feel like he would maybe pick up on that, but he doesn't. So that kind of bugged me a little bit. However, I think masking that with this cute bats and snake story was okay because I liked it. I thought it was fun. Um, and then at the very end, you see who's on the cover for that next issue, man, and I'm like, sign me up. I'm
Yeah.
ready for this.
Well, like what annoys me though is, I mean, Bats is coming up to him, and I get it. I have a dog, and she'll come up to me and tell me stuff that's just not true all the time. So I get it, but like Bats is coming up to him and telling him there's something wrong. He's like, no, there isn't. And then Bats ends up in a mirror world, and then like afterwards, Strange just wakes up. He's like, huh, wonder where my snakes and dogs are. Oh well, I'm gonna go do something else. It's like, dude, you have a responsibility. You are a ghost dog owner, damn it. You got to make sure your dog's fed and taken out. And so, it's bad ownersmanship
Yeah,
that he just, wasn't even giving a shit about his dog. Seems out of character for old Mr. Doctor Strange.
it does. He's like, huh, everyone's gone. Has nothing to do with the fact that Bats told me something was up.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like Doctor Strange would be like that. And
Yeah.
I was also just let down too because like I see the cover, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a Bats heavy issue, and then like we get the story, and I'm like, Bats is trapped in a mirror world, Daryl.
Yep.
That's not what I wanted to hear.
Here's what I expected though. I expected the issue Like after I read it, I went back and checked the credits. I'm like, surely this is co-written by Al Ewing and he's gonna take over the next issue. But that didn't happen.
Yeah.
So I I like Al Ewing right now. I know
Yeah.
you don't, but it's like I don't mind that Jed McKay is taking that little snippet of his idea and running with it.
No, I think that's a neat concept and um but it's just I don't know, just doing mean things to poor old dead bats is just
Yeah,
not okay.
yeah. No, I totally get it. I totally get it.
And then the
Where
next issue looks like it has no connection to it. So like Dr. Drew's like, oh, my dog's been gone for a while. Do you think he's chasing ghost squirrels somewhere?
I don't know. Maybe he's like, oh no, my dog is missing. I need to assemble a team to find him, and that's the team he assembles.
Yeah. I
Where are
think
you
that
with it?
I'm probably at a 7.
7? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go
Well,
8.5. I enjoyed it.
well, dude, the next issue, because I read the what happens, because it says, it's a sentient role-playing game has transformed New York City into a fantasy world. Like that's 100% up your alley, but has nothing to do with damn bats.
True. Not only is it up my alley, but it's also Taskmaster, Hunter's Moon, like
Yeah.
a Black Cat, I think, joining. It's like, man, Jed McKay just gets me.
Yeah.
Why
All right, dude. What are you excited for in the coming weeks?
don't you go first? Because I forgot to bring up the tab.
Alrighty. So I'm gonna say Green Lantern, of course. Been loving that. This is like a bigger week, but Wolverine, dude, that book is just bonkers. I wish you were reading it. And let's say, trying to think of one that'd be good. Blade, I guess. What about you?
I'm gonna go Vengeance of Moon Knight, Sandman, and I'm gonna say Red Hood. Looking forward to that miniseries.
Nice. All right, Fantastic Four time. I guess like last week or during the weekend, I think it was last week, this dude climbed the sphere in Las Vegas. Did you see this?
Yes.
Oh, he climbed it and then he didn't know how to get back down. So, so I just want you to give me 4 times that you started something, like started reading a comic book or collecting a comic book, and then you're like, oh no, I have to keep going.
Oh, I think we all know that one of those is definitely Nightwing.
Hmm.
Uh, I'll just say recent memory Nightwing, Rebirth onwards, even if there were bits of good in that. Um,
Now, did you collect Grayson also?
I have them to
Okay.
be Nightwing complete.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Look, man, we've all got problems.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I gotcha.
Um, even though I like some of it at the time, I think I'm allowed to put New 52 Red Hood in this
Hmm.
because I there was a point I hit it that I'm like, oh, this is really bad actually.
Yeah.
But I had to keep getting it because I love Kenneth Rocafort so much.
Hmm.
Um,
And you love the characters too, because even after he
yeah,
left, it was still Scott Lobdell, and you're like, "Ugh, maybe it'll be good again."
I know, dude. I was just grasping at that point. Um, let's see what else. Ha, Zdarsky Batman. Just for a recent one.
Yeah.
Let's see one more. Huh. Oh, Tim Drake Robin.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Immortal Hulk. If you have ever listened to me talk, you know that one's gonna be on there. Um, then I'll go with the that new Flashpoint that came out that Jake got me started on. And I was like, well, it's only 6 issues. I guess I'll finish it. And I'll be like, oh, I guess it's only 4 more issues. I guess I'll finish it. And it's like, there's only one left. I guess I'm gonna have to finish it.
Yeah, but you
Um,
won't do that for World's Finest.
no, I just don't have an like that that annual like the where they're like we're picking back up with this. It's like, oh, do you mean this brand new story with fifth dimension imps that I've never asked for or want? No, thank you, Mark and Colin Bunn. Um, so yeah, like those are two that are on there. What would be another good one? I'm trying to think of. I should have had more thought of. I was like, oh, they'll come to me. Oh, when I was reading, I read too much of that bad Spider-Man run where it was coming out like 4 times a week, and I finally just couldn't. And by 4 times a week, I mean 4 times a month, and I just couldn't. I was like, I just can't keep up with this.
Beyond.
Yeah, I'm like, and it's not very good.
Yeah,
And then
that's a good one.
yeah, and then also on the Spider-Man train, I'm gonna go Dan Slott's Spider-Man. I read that for a long time. And then finally, after like Superior Spider-Man, I was reading it less, but I had a subscription, so I was still getting it. And then they brought Spider-Man back, and I'm like, oh well, maybe I'll like this. And I'm like, nope, I still hate it. Dan's lots of ruin for me now.
See, you got me in on that series at a good time
Mm-hmm.
where I jumped on it the big time and then I
Yeah.
just stopped at Superior. I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
want this. I want Peter Parker. So I'm good with that stuff, but I
Yeah.
realize exactly what you're talking about.
Dude, and like it helped too to get you on that book because like I remember when I was like, dude, you need to check this out. It's really good. Then like you looked at the issue that I was on and it was on the cover, it had the dude that did the arts version of Hobgoblin. And you're just like, oh, I'm sold.
Well, dude, he looks fucking cool.
No, he's so cool.
That was a good one. That was a good Fantastic Four.
Let us know some comics that you're like, boy, I wish I wouldn't have ever started reading them.
Yeah, everybody's got them.
Yep.
All right, guys, that's the end of the episode. It was nice to have some news and a good chunk of comics to talk about.
Yeah. And just a lot of other just regular old bullshit that we could talk about because we're good at that too.
Yeah, we are. All right, guys, closing plugs. If you would head on over to facebook.com/Two Worlds Podcast and give the page a like. You can also follow us on Twitter at two_worlds_PC and on Instagram at Two Worlds Pod. You can email us at twoworldspodcast@gmail.com. And if you would, head on over to our YouTube channel. That's Two Worlds Podcast on YouTube and subscribe.
And let us know down below, do you think backgrounds are important in comics? Or do you think, no, just blue space. That's fine.
Well, guys, we'd love to stay in chat, but Casey's trapped in the mirror dimension and I have to go get Bats' help to get him out. See ya.
Bye.